This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
You have to be strong in today's world. Keep your focus and what you believe in, how to achieve all your dreams. Keep moving forward, never accept less than who you are. Live your best life. Be strong and free. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
The Hit Back with Nahaja Black is sponsored by the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, Dwayne Sands of Elizabeth Estates, J.S. Johnson, Baha Retreat and Spa, Kalina Financial Advisors Limited, and the Progressive Liberal Party.
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome to the Hit Back. I'm your host, Nahaja Black. It is a beautiful day here in the 242. I hope that you are doing well, taking care of yourself, that you are living your best life as best as it can be. It doesn't need a lot of money. It just needs a lot of imagination, a lot of love, a lot of ingenuity, all of those things that can help you to live your best life. Listen, I believe that we are always one step closer to purpose, one step closer. I believe that purpose is purchased through progress. Y'all catch that? That purpose is purchased through progress. Every time you make a positive step forward, you begin to believe in your purpose even more. That is a powerful thing. I want y'all to remember that your purpose is purchased through progress. Ask them who said it. You could quote me because I just made that up. That's how I feel. I made that joint up. I hope that everybody's doing well. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We've got swing voter talk, right? We've got trending. The Ministry of Health is trending COVID numbers down. There's tons of questions to ask with that. But on its face value, that's good news. Want to say hello to everybody who's watching and listening in Grand Bahama. Someone says in my in my pauper's voice, a godly day to the universe. For sure. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to see you all who are watching online. Don't forget, follow us, like us, share. You know, I would say if I was from the party in black, share, live at 8, but y'all don't have to do all of that. Just share, share, like, forward, follow, like, and share. The Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. I've got joining me, though, top of the show. C.A. Near will be joining me at 4:30. But I guess, and shout out to my producer, Wally, who is who's my producer, not Wally, Arlie. Lord have mercy. Arlie, who's my producer today. And we have joining us and a wonderful author, Bahamian author, Mrs. Norma Ferguson Hill. And she's got something to share with us. This young lady, Mrs. Hill, welcome to the show.
Welcome. I like the team. Purpose is purchased through progress. I love that.
Thank you.
True. Yes.
Yeah. I believe it every day. And finally I came up with it. And I like the letter P. All the most powerful words are P's, right? Purpose, yes. Potential, power. But anyways, let me don't take up your time. Norma Ferguson Hill, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, man. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us a bit. I was introduced to you by one of your books. And I wanted you to be able to share your story on this book that you've written and why you decided to write this book and why it is so timely right now for the season we're in.
Well, why I wrote this book is because I'm a Christian educator. I was always a Christian educator from a little girl. I studied the Bible. I went to college, studied biblical education. My master's degree program is in Bible and leadership. And this book was written about 12 years ago. And I've been in Nassau promoting it before because it's relevant in the Bible, like we know it's relevant. And the purpose now and why I'm on your program now is to let my Bahamian people and whoever listening to know that we have to fill our purpose. And I'm under an appointment I'm under divine appointment, and you know that, Miss Black. This is a divine appointment. God has allowed me to be in Nassau this time because as a Christian educator, God fulfilled my purpose in writing books. This is just one of my books. This book is basic stuff. I have put some stuff together from my childhood, from my Sunday school, my Bible school. Some of it was written by my great-grand-uncle, Bishop Alvin Simon Moore. So it's a book that I can say it's straight from the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, and I obey God. I wrote it because God gave me the gift and the talents, and it's relevant now because the Bible never go to date, and you know what's going on in the world. You know what's going everywhere. We need to fulfill our purpose, and my purpose here is to let people know, hey, let's help our young people, especially to study God's word and put it in simple form. You saw
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want you to tell us about this book, the title of it, and all of that good stuff.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more with Norma Ferguson Hill, author, and wanting to share her work with us. And, you know, I love Bahamian authors. It's always a good time with that. We will be back right after this. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
There is a better way forward, and it starts by leading with compassion.
PLP leader Philip Brave Davis.
We're going to respect doctors and nurses, partnering with them to fix the health crisis.
Deputy leader Chester Cooper.
The same way of doing things just won't work anymore. We'll create new jobs and new industries, building an economy that works for everyone. Join us, and let's change our country together.
This has been a paid political announcement by the PLP.
When I had got prostate cancer, my family didn't know if I was going to live. At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, within days, I got an appointment. They presented me with treatment options, and we set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. It's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAO, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAO, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
We're back. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Norma Ferguson Hill, author, Bahamian author, here on the show with us. Norma, first, before we go any further, tell us, what is the name of the book?
The book, like you can see, it's called The Biblical Education Chronicles. The Biblical Education Chronicles. This is a book of different writing I put together over a period of life. Growing up in the Church of God of Prophecy, all my Bible study, questions and answering back to the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, simple stuff, talking about the children of Israel and breaking it down where anyone can understand the Bible. But what's significant about this book is the fact that when I started writing back then in the 70s, early 70s, 80s, 90s, many of the questions and the answers and stuff was in this book is not what people are asking today. They are not getting down into basic stuff. These are basic questions and answers, like when we go into, say, for instance, categories of the Bible, like when we talk about the children of Israel, who wrote which Bible, who put which chapter together, chapters, words, letters, just breaking it down into, like, say, for instance, let me go here. In this category here, it talk about Genesis chapter 1. It talk about the children of Israel. And it talk about who and what, when, and how. And these are questions children are asking about the Bible. You know, the 10 Commandments, basic stuff. The children, the 15 judges of Israel. the 7 Christian readiness, the Beatitudes, basic stuff. And when our young people, I study our Bahamian people through the internet and through the chats, and I study when I come home. And I was on Wendell Jones' show, 2012. It's the same book. This was just before Dorian, and the Lord showed me that what it's going to take us to getting back as a nation is we need to stick to the Bible. We are very educated people, like you know, but he showed me that the main foundation is many of the generation, the XY, and some of our not the baby, but the baby boomers, children and grandkids, they did not get the basic fact. So many of them, they on surface of the Bible, but they need to know biblical things. And that's why I believe the Lord have me now, because it's written 2009. Chronicles, it's like a catechism. Our young people need to have a book that they can tote with them, something they can have in their Bible to know an answer. If you ask them a question, the answer is there for them. They need to
and
know.
do you think, Norma?
Yes.
Do you think, in this day and age, how do you get young people interested in the Bible?
That's the same question Mr. Wendell Jones asked me on his program. He and Mr. The man who was on with him. It's going to take a lot of prayer, because in the church and in the home, the Bible is responsible, the parents in the home, especially this young generation, but it's going to take all us working together. And that's why I'm on. It's going to take us who know the word to help groups of people. I know people who I work with, some people who love the Bible, love education, help them to help others, because many of the parents are not teaching their kids. Many of them are not teaching the Bible. Christian education starts in the home. I'm a Christian educator. And my duty is, how do I get, like you said, to get it back? Yeah. It's going to take us working together. Yes, the church and the Sunday school teacher, but it's going to take us, your community, your church, who's getting it. It may take you purchasing 5 books, 10 books as an individual and distribute it to children in your neighborhood as you go around, because we are responsible for our nation. We don't see it sometimes, but I'm a baby boomer. We are the baby boomers. Lord spoke to me about this. We are the baby boomers. Many of us haven't really fulfilled our purpose. Like you said, it takes progress and it takes time. So this is a good time for them to go and purchase some of these books. And
let me ask you, Norma, before I let you go, how do folks get to purchase the book your book?
Good question. They can go to anywhere books are sold, Amazon especially, or Ex Libris, Bookcom, and they can Google up my on my Facebook, and if they go on my YouTube, Norma Ferguson Hill, I have a YouTube ministry. They will see my book on there, Norma Ferguson Hill. Mm-hmm. Just Norma Ferguson Hill. Once they go on YouTube, I have some of the books on there. I have a little videos of my books. Yeah. But once they look for this one, because this is what the Lord showed me here. Like you can see, I have my puppy. We just buried my dad today. He was a great education. He was my mentor. He did great things. And that's why I'm on today. It's not an accident I'm on today. Bishop Cephas Ferguson, a great legacy of this community, did great job. That's and his DNA is in me. I have to carry his legacy, Miss Black.
Yeah.
One for not my dad. So I'm just telling you, it's reveling the right timing, because you know how I got on this time. So my whole thing as I go off is to let people know to listen to God. When God speaks to individuals like me, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He's anointed me to preach the gospel. And my gospel is, while I'm here, I am to let my country know, get in the Bible, get books, get material, and help our community system.
Norma Ferguson Hill, thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Black.
For the time. They can find the book on Amazon, and it's say the name again one last time.
Ex Libris, or anywhere book is sold. It's over 3.
What's the name of the book?
The book's called Biblical Education Chronicles by Norma
Thank you
Ferguson
so much.
Hill.
Thank you so
Ms.
much.
Black. Appreciate you.
All right.
God bless you and your program.
And my condolences on the loss of your father.
Okay there. Thank you.
All right. Norma Ferguson Hill, y'all, author there. You feel free to go ahead at Amazon and Ex Libris. I think that's it. You can go ahead and purchase the book. Their Bahamian authors are always a great treat to have on the show. And so it's always a pleasure to do that as well. We're going to, pivot now, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about on the show today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about on the show today. And what makes this interesting for us is that we are getting closer and closer. My good friend CA is about to click in very soon, but we're getting closer and closer and closer to that day, to D-Day. It is Tuesday, and we have, less than 48 hours, right? Less than 48 hours before the time. And so this will be the time when you mark your X. You will mark your X in 2 days, and it is still a decision for many of us. I remember last election, I didn't decide until I was in the booth, right? And I called friends. I called people who I respected, who had said whatever choice they were going to make. And yeah, Andrew, I love reading Bahamian author's book. I got a book called The Strong Ones, and this is a brilliant book by a Bahamian doctor. I have to get it. Next break, I'll have it and I'll show you. It's called The Strong Ones by a female doctor. Love this book, and I've yet to bring her on the show. I have to get her on the show. Brilliant, just very impressive, but I digress. Anyways, so now we're in this time, right? Well, I called some folks, and if I tell you guys the story of who all I called that morning, really it would be an interesting story. But we ain't got it now. And I walked into the booth. Hubby and I always say, Hubby and I have never had a difference of opinion in who we would vote for. We've never had that. And all the times that we've, for as long as we've been together, we always knew, right? And so when we got into that, right? Dr. Gia Jones, thank you, Odessa. Dr. Gia Jones wrote The Strong Ones. Man, that's a great book. That's a small book, and it's so powerful, especially for Black women. And I'm digressing. We don't even go into the book yet, because when she comes on, hopefully we'll get her on and we can discuss it. It's a wonderful little book. Anywho's. So, man, hubby and I never divert in this situation. Brother told me, said, boy, honey, I think I'm going to vote for Dr. Minnis. I look at my husband and I said, I don't know what you're thinking. But when I walked into the booth, I said, but God, this man you gave me, because I really don't know what I do in him. Everything else. And I went with my good husband, and I don't regret it, but I regret it. But I don't regret it, because since then I've gotten this gig, and I'm happy to say I voted F&M, and I read them up, and they read. So, you don't think that just works out just right? No? Anyways, we're going to I'm trying to figure out why I don't see CA yet. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about this lap. We've got constituents. CA was saying he was setting up his laptop. It's always, Fox Hill. I don't know what's dealing with him at Fox Hill Internet. Fox Hill Internet never worked. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We've got battleground constituencies. And we are going to start with, and I want to we have so much things to talk about today, but we're going to start with, we have Family Islands, we have Grand Bahama that we have to touch on. And, of course, Grand Bahama in and of itself, 5 constituencies. But then in New Providence, we have, quite a bit of those as well. And so there's quite a bit of things here. We have Long Island, Exuma, and I really want to focus on the Family Islands today. But before we do that, let's backtrack a bit. Let's backtrack a bit to some of the islands that we did cover in the battlegrounds, right? So some of the islands we did cover. It says match red and red. Some of the islands we did cover were, and I got it here written down. We've got, Carmichael, Garden Hills. We did those. Mount Moriah, Marathon, Nassau Village, Pinewood. Then we didn't get to Seabreeze, and we got to do Seabreeze in a minute. But what we found out about those constituencies, y'all, was that they go back and forth, right? They go back and forth. They are the swing constituencies. I tell you, CA always having problems with his mic or computer, always. And so they go back and forth with these constituencies. And if the trend holds, they will go back to the PLP. If the trend holds. For the past 20 years, we've seen the trend holding for the Progressive Liberal Party. Someone says, Nakia says, my husband and I never agree on who to vote for. We have a don't ask, don't tell policy. Yeah, I swear to you, I was like, we have a don't ask, don't tell policy. We got my good friend CA finally arrived. CA, welcome to the show, buddy. Your mic on, man. Say something.
Oh, no. I couldn't see myself, so I thought I was in the background. But it's always good to be on your show. I'm excited about tomorrow, more music. And I see you dealing with the battleground constituencies, and that's always entertaining to watch and see what happens.
Yeah. Someone asked, what is the temperature in Kalani? I got word said there's a question mark in Kalani. A question mark in Kalani? Boy, I got to see that to believe that. I don't believe there's a question mark. I think it will lean red as it's always done. It will lean red. No thoughts?
No, I didn't realize you were talking to me. I thought you was pontificating, and I allow you to pontificate because it's your show, and I sit back and relax and let you do you.
I really don't like you most days. Most days you are.
I understand. I know.
I just
2 more days, 2 good days, and I'm letting you do your do.
Man, listen. Okay. So we got a few things that we're gonna do before we get to that, right? So what we know for sure, Cecil, is that we have seen the movement back and forth, right? We've seen movement back and forth. We've seen these with particular constituencies, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this particular constituency. And I think honestly that I had one of the candidates on the show yesterday. The F&M candidate was on the show yesterday, right? And this is for the constituency of Seabreeze. We know that the former F&M candidate was Lanisha Roll, right?
Yes.
Former F&M candidate was Lanisha Roll. We now have a very brilliant young Bahamian, Mrs. Maxine Seymour, for the Free National Movement. Of course, the most notable in terms of notoriety, in terms of being a bigger name, is Leslie Bryce, daughter of Leslie Miller. So that is one of the more notable names in that constituency. But what we know for the past 20 years, where in 2002 it was called Holy Cross, and now it's the Seabreeze constituency, that it's moved back and forth. 2002 yellow, 2007 red, 2012, 2017, all respectively changing color, going back and forth between the two, right? I want to get your thoughts on, and I'm going to pull up the candidates that are running, but your thoughts initially on this sort of grouping.
You called the word Holy Cross, and once you said Holy Cross, I got a Carl Bethel picture in my mind because he was the MP of Holy Cross. So yep. I got excited. So the idea that yes, for a while now, for several elections, this has been going PLP FNM, yeah. And not just in recent history, but historically has been going back and forth. If you are following the trends, one would easily see, yes, it's going yellow. It's going to go PLP because of how the temperament and how it's been going back and forth. Mm-hmm. But if you followed recent history, and the reason why there is no incumbent running in this constituency is because the Seabreeze, in fact, was not happy with their member of parliament.
Is that what it was? Is that what it was, or is it because of some sort of personal infighting in the party?
No, I think that
we don't know why Ms. Roll was removed or stepped down as Minister of Youth, Sports, and Culture. We still don't know.
But we still don't know. But we need to appreciate that Leslie Miller started campaigning early. She was anticipating to go against a Ms. Roll, and Ms. Roll was not a good candidate at the time. Nationally, people were frustrated of seeing her picture on everything. There are a number of ministry issues there was contemptuous times and tumultuous times within it. We see it recently in the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Culture, where people saying who going off to the Olympics or not going off to the Olympics or the World Games, whatever it is, and who get to go, and what happened to the games in general, why it was canceled or stopped and reviewed. So there was very angst inside her ministry. I'm not even going to mention the Ministry of Social Services. There's a lot of angst there too. So Leslie Miller was ahead or anticipating going up against Ms. Roll, right?
Yeah.
Lanisha Roll. Then the FNM was pressed to find a suitable candidate. And for a while, you had rumors that a Bostwick was going to run in that constituency. And that was running for a time being until the Bostwick lady came out and said, no, she is not running. Right, and she's not interested in running at this particular time. So when the FNM found a candidate in Maxine Seymour, who's a seasoned FNM, who has history of campaigning, who is a smart lady intellectual, who is competent, they thought they finally found someone who can go toe to toe. And then they did find, in fact, they did find someone who can go toe to toe against a popular Leslie Bryce, who had already assumed the position of being an MP. Mm-hmm. She had taken over from a Lanisha role and started cleaning up the community. She started visiting the sick and the elderly. She started doing her own campaign as if she was the MP already. So when Maxine Storr came about, she had to play catch up. Right,
Maxine Seymour. Yeah,
Maxine Seymour. She had to play catch up for a while, and she continues to play catch up. It's not that she's not a adequate candidate, right? It's just that Leslie Bryce started and assumed the role of MP and started doing MP role-ish, right? And Maxine Seymour has been playing catch up in her campaign, and the idea that she started late in the campaign put her at a disadvantage, and then she's still behind. As she continued the campaign up to 2 days before the election.
Yeah, and it's a tough sledding there in that constituency. Just for the record, I want to remind folks, because we're going to have to go to break, that the Guardian has the tally sheets, the voters' tally sheets, the election tally sheets printed. My cousin asked for this. You know, it's so sad, right? Like, I really don't, the tally sheets are something that is new in terms of relation to me and voting. I just used to sit and watch the TV. The last two elections, that last one and this one, is where I got interested in the tally sheets, and boy, are they fun. It's like playing some sort of game at home. So they're in the Guardian. Go ahead.
I would say that my neighbor is having an election party, but I cannot say it out loud because
that ain't happening.
The COVID police is passed. But she already printed out her election sheets. Coincidentally, she got one or two Guardians for that too. She's asked me for pictures, like I have any pictures of any candidates, right? But
everybody asking for pictures.
Yes, everybody want to have the pictures. So election parties is a big thing. It's now cultural to have. So I expect one or two persons in my neighborhood to be doing this tally sheet come tomorrow. I'll be watching you tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on Thursday.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, we can be all over. But listen, I just want folks to know, as I continue to get my antigen tests, everyone is seeing us on TV now, and people are wondering, we are getting tested on a regular basis. My nostril is just very much not happy. So folks, if you are going to do any sort of get together, just know that just to be very safe, any persons in your house, get those antigen tests, please. You cannot risk your health. Just another loss today. Someone who didn't make it to the hospital died, again. And this is happening a lot at home. They're not in the numbers. So please, someone says COVID don't come out during election. No, it ain't gonna come out. Y'all watch election night party. It ain't gotta come out. It can stay in with y'all. Just be careful, please. Get tested. Get your tally sheets. It's in the Guardian today. Get your Guardian paper today. It's in the tally sheets. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, you're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
Softer, smoother, and amazing skin. Oh, sugar, sugar, we're the sugar ladies, giving you skin soft as a baby's. Goodbye, hair, we'll take good care of you.
Come visit us at Bahar Retreat Spa on East Bay Street. Contact us at 323-6711 or visit us online at www.baharetreat.com.
Hello, Bahamas. My name is Dr. Dwayne Sands. I was born and raised in Centerville, in the heart of the valley, Nassau, Bahamas. I'm a proud Bahamian. I've been fortunate to represent the great people of Elizabeth for the last 5 years. It has always been my dream to serve my country, and I have been involved in the political process on the front line since 2009. I am very, very proud of the support of my family who have been with me from the beginning and who are still with me to this day. In particular, my wife, Larica, and all of my children. And actually, there's quite a few of them. I'm actually a cardiovascular surgeon. What that means is I take on the sickest people with the biggest problems every day. And so for me, the political process to deal with the challenges facing our country is pretty much par for the course. It's what I do every day. I am happy to be a part of the great team of the Free National Movement under the leadership of Dr. Hubert Minnis. We are indeed Elizabeth Strong.
This has been a paid political announcement by the FNM candidate for Elizabeth.
Have you heard about the COVID vaccine raffle? If you are vaccinated against COVID-19, you can enter to win amazing prizes like food store gift certificates, hotel stays, beach excursions, and so much more. Even if you are previously vaccinated, you can still enter to win. The COVID vaccine is free, safe, and protects you from severe COVID-19 infections. Don't delay. Get vaccinated today and enter to win. Visit www.vaxbahamas.com to register.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Special condolences to a friend of mine, a gentleman who was on the show, Pastor Chris Hyla. He has lost someone else dear to him, his sister. So we're sending condolences to his family, sending love and greetings. Also, was just told of a passing of someone else, Mr. Andrew Sweeting. So to everyone who's losing people, condolences. And it's not just COVID, but in this season, it feels like everything is weighty. So, be mindful, y'all. Be mindful that we are still in the middle of the worst pandemic we have ever seen. The world is at a standstill, and we also have to be mindful, be prepared, be cautious, sanitize as much as you can. My hands are a mess from constant sanitizing and hand washing. And so we all have to be very careful. I got my good friend, C.A. Nuri, joining me. C.A., it's good to have you on the show, buddy. Welcome. Okay, there he goes. He just like unmute your mic, man.
I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, stuttering and all.
Yeah. You can't even make it up. You can't even swing yourself.
No. I was trying to make up something, but it didn't come out.
Yeah. This is tough, man. CA, even though we have to, we're forced to pay attention. And I think we're hopeful that it's a good distraction, the elections. These elections are very weighty, right? Because a lot of things hang in the balance. And, but I'm happy that it's coming to an end.
Yes.
But through all of this, the thing is that we are still losing people at an alarming rate. And the Ministry of Health sent out, was touting really that they believe that the vaccination campaign is helping, that we are seeing a decrease in COVID-19 positive cases. And I do believe that there's more questions than answers from that statement, because we still have to ask the question, knowing that I paid for a rapid antigen test today, was that added to the number?
No.
Do they get those results? No. How many, considering the amount of people I saw parked, and there are new rapid antigen or COVID testing facilities popping up at an alarming clip. I mean, I got one that's just at the Old Fort Bay area. I went to a new one that was on East Bay Street. So we're getting more testing facilities. The testing facility space is making good money.
And they open up on Sundays. I was very impressed with that, to see that the testing facilities are opened up on a Sunday.
Yeah. And so that means that the people are getting tested. How many people, when I went into that space, there was I think I met altogether, I think I saw about 8 people in that moment. We all weren't in the space together, but moving through, coming in and out. And my whole thing is, how many of them did PCR tests? Only those who had to travel. How many were doing it to travel, and how many weren't doing it to travel? And so those are questions that we aren't getting. What about persons who were turned away, where there was not sufficient space? What about persons who are afraid after watching? Did you watch Jerome Sawyer's? I don't know what we call it. What do you call it when they do this documentary? Yeah, of PMH. And if you watch that, you wasn't going. You ain't going to PMH. You just try to figure it out at home. How many people are trying to figure it out at home, and lose the fight? So, by the way, just something to note as we go back into what we're discussing. People, if you have COVID, get one of those pulse oximeters, right, for your finger. Yeah, pulse oximeter is a little thing. They got it all. Trust me, the pharmacy ready for you. The pharmacy ready for you. Just say the thing you put on your finger to determine your blood oxygen level. It's a pulse oximeter. The red line number is 89. If you got COVID, go and get yourself a pulse oximeter. And the red line number, when I asked Dr. Sands, what is the red line number? When you need to go to the hospital, it is 89. Run. And my Dr. Lockhart, by the way, I spoke to Dr. Lockhart this morning, Susan Williams Lockhart this morning, and they buried her husband on Saturday. But she is just telling everyone, please be safe. And, trust me, we had a long talk. But her thing is, if it's below 92, then go to the hospital. Doc Dwayne Sands is, if it's below 89, go to the hospital. I would say go with 92. But if you could make it to 89, and everybody just do that, please. I think people just don't know when they're sick, like when it's going to a bad level. That's a bad level past that. I think that's one of them. Someone says, you look so handsome today. That's a shocker. I mean, the first thing Cecil said when he come on was, I couldn't see myself. I wanted to hold that in. I said, must be dark in that room. Okay, see, we got Battleground Islands, Battlegrounds in Grand Bahama and Bimini. Woohoo! Right? Grand Bahama and Bimini. Antoinette says, you're dark and lovely. Shout out to everyone who's following us on Facebook and YouTube. Appreciate you. Everyone who's listening in your car. I love you. All right, CA. 5 constituencies, Grand Bahama and Bimini, Marco City, Pine Ridge, West, Grand Bahama and Bimini. They tend to lay in gold. And then you have Central Grand Bahama and East End Grand Bahama that tend to lean red, right? So let's go through that and look at some of the candidates that we have for that constituency. What do you think about Grand Bahama as a whole, please?
I think that all eyes would be on Grand Bahama because, the FNM has all 5 seats at this present time, and the PLP is trying to change that. The question is that the number of persons have given West End and Bimini to the PLP already, and now it's all about the other 4 and where they're going, right? We have Pine Ridge where McAlpine is, and Boodle and Moxie, Ginger Moxie, and they want to know what impact will McAlpine have on the election there. Would it impact Boodle numbers? Would it impact Moxie number, right? McAlpine being a historic FNM, historic FNM, we would assume that it would more likely impact Boodle's number and split the vote. So they're assuming now that Pine Ridge is leaning Ginger Moxie. And now the temperaments now for, you see that the former Prime Minister came down and reminded the people of Pine Ridge that Boodle must be voted in. That is important for him to be there. And I think that will have an impact on FNMs and have an impact on McAlpine votes, where FNMs will return home. So I don't think that the election, and even though you differ from me, I don't think that McAlpine will be in this election. I think this election is going to be between Ginger Moxie and Boodle, and then McAlpine will be at the tail end, coming a distant third.
I rebuke that. In the name of Jesus, the Spanish Jesus.
Yes.
Don't mess with me. Woo, child. Where my purple? I ain't got all my purple today.
The John Canoe gods already say.
John Canoe.
It is written. It is written.
Know leaving to say the election old bear. Whatever you talking, I rebuke it. Come, I can't even handle that. Listen, Ginger got songs. Mac's song still legit in Pine Ridge. All right. Let me leave that alone. All right, Central Grand Bahama. Let's go with that. Central Grand Bahama. Hiram Lewis is the incumbent for Central Grand Bahama. PLP, Kirkland Russell, KGM, each, for the record, the KGM say no Mac. That's right. No Mac still in the race. The KGM, for the record, Kingdom Government Movement, where they are strongest is in Grand Bahama. Each constituency has a member of parliament. That's no big feat. It's only 5 seats, but at least they have Grand Bahama covered in that regard. All right. Someone says Bahamians like to change their minds, but they're strong holding on changes regardless, right? They have KGM, Rollington Cooper, Coalition of Independent candidate, Latanya Ferguson Strawn, and the United Coalition Movement, Troy Garvey. I think this is I don't know. You tell me. Do you know Kirkland Russell well? In terms of who he is, background.
No, and this is why I give Hiram Lewis this particular seat. And I know you mentioned that Central Grand Bahama tends to be red. If I remember that you said correctly, I think this is where McLeanstown is, and I don't know Grand Bahama that well, but wherever McLeanstown is, that's an F&M stronghold. And if it is Central Grand Bahama, I'm assuming that Hiram Lewis and East Grand Bahama will remain F&M for this.
I think folks are saying, I think Hiram's seat is probably more secure of all of the F&Ms.
Yes.
I think it's more secure, even though I really like Marco City, even though I really like Pintard. I like Pintard for the work that he's done. And he's really tried to put his stamp on fisheries, on the maritime and agriculture. He's really tried. What he's tried to do with regard to the Cascarilla and that industry there. What he's tried to do with fishing, even though I still got some issues with the bill kind of being, discriminating against married women, Bahamian women, and foreign husbands. So that is my issue there, my only issue there. But I think Hiram has a better chance. And only because, of course, and I think history shows that if my memory serves me again, that Central leans red. Central tends to lean
I'm almost sure that's where McLeanstown is, and that's where Kenneth Russell was. I think that's Kenneth Russell, but I can always stand corrected on that. But definitely, my PLP friends are saying that the F&M is going to get 1 seat. And they're saying that 1 seat more likely will be Hiram Lewis. They have acknowledged that Central and Grand Bahama is more pro F&M, and that's the only one they having difficulties with.
Yeah.
And I see I'm being corrected about where McLeanstown, East Grand Bahama. So again, I would throw in Kwesi Thompson to be the F&M's 2nd seat after Hiram Lewis, and then
Kwesi Thompson. You think Kwesi Thompson's going to win a seat right now?
I think it's possible. I think it's possible, despite Kate.
I think Kwesi Thompson is too close to the sun. He's too close to.
You get burned. The wings drop.
He's too close to the fire on this one. It's a little bit too close to the master on this one. That I think that we be. But again, in that. Well, hold on. We don't believe. So you're saying that, and someone said that Troy Garvey is now with the Grand Commonwealth Party and not with the UCM. So I'm not sure there, but
that's only 2 votes anyway. You don't need to even go there and mention him much. I appreciate his $400. It'll definitely help some poor people and investments and stuff like that. So I appreciate it. But let's stay on focus now. Hiram Lewis, Kirkland Russell, and talk about them.
You ain't safe. East Grand Bahama, Kwesi Thompson, PLP is Kwesi Thompson's for the F&M.
Yes.
Filling and taking over from Peter Turnquest, right?
And I like Peter Turnquest. I thought he did a yeoman's job.
Can I just say, there were very few F&M members of parliament or cabinet ministers who were willing to take the hard questions.
The hard questions.
Very few. And whom I will always respect because of it We may not agree, but I respected the fact that they were not afraid of the questions. And that one of them was KP to Turnquest. Dwayne Sands, always. And even my friend who's not a member of parliament, Marlon Johnson, the acting secretary of the financial secretary, Marlon would always answer the questions. And that is something that I respect. Even if they beat around, they showed up.
They showed up.
And they were one of the few who did. Michael Pintard would show up 40, 50% of the time. But I appreciated that, right? There's no running. And that is where I respect you, because that is where, and I'm not saying I don't respect others, but that when questions are asked, are you competent enough to answer? Renzel Rowe, the first time I met him, showed up. And I appreciated him for that, and I think that that's all the people ask for, just show up and help us understand what you're trying to show us or trying to do. But we digress. So Kwesi Thompson takes over. PLP James, Roll Turner, KGM leader, Dr. Kevin King, Bahamas Constitution Party, Charlene Jones, and Coalition of Independents, Albertha Cooper. Dr. King believes that he is going to win there in the East. All right, we're going to take a break. I don't know why Cecil shake his head, but we can take a break. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. We will be back right after this.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
You're listening to the Guardian News Network. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Taylor Ferguson. Here's what's making news. Thank you for tuning in. Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar expressing his disappointment and frustration at the Freeport Harbor Company for not reaching an agreement with Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. That agreement, he said, was needed to facilitate the sale of the Grand Lucine Resort in Freeport.
I'm very disappointed that the Freeport Harbor Company and their agents in Hong Kong, and for whatever reason, that deal is ongoing, and that hasn't been concluded. And as a result, and it's very frustrating, I'm very disappointed that the Freeport Harbor Company and the Royal Caribbean Group were not able to finalize their transaction. As a result, the hotel can't transfer over to the Royal Caribbean Group for them to start doing what it is that they needed to do.
Government signed a heads of agreement with Royal Caribbean and the ITM Group for the sale and redevelopment of the property in nearby cruise port. Government has owned the Grand Lucine since August 2018 when it purchased the hotel for $65 million. Since then, it has cost government approximately $1 million a month to maintain and operate. With just 2 days before the general election and concerns arising over quarantine voters, National Security Minister Marvin Dames is assuring COVID protocols will be strictly enforced.
And you can expect come election day that you would see any number of those issues that you saw at the advanced polls are rectified.
Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis will speak to the national COVID-19 situation tomorrow. The Ministry of Health announcing today, according to the Ministry of Health, an analysis of the COVID-19 data recorded this year is beginning to show a decrease in the number of new cases of COVID-19. Public Service Minister Renzel Rowe revealing today that just over 1,200 people who were a part of government's National Job Creation Program have received letters confirming that they will be made permanent and pensionable after passing a 12-month probation period. Rowe says officials began handing out those letters over the summer. The confirmation comes 2 days before the next election. Rowe says it's not a political move.
Just to make sure that no one puts a political spin on it. No politics was involved except the fact that every member of parliament had an opportunity to identify persons from their constituencies who were placed in the various jobs.
That's what's making news. I'm Taylor Ferguson. AP News is coming up next.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to?
Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Pandemic frustration. I'm Tim McGuire with an AP News Minute. Doctors and nurses across the country are angry and frustrated by the surge in coronavirus cases that has landed the nation in the same spot it was last winter. And a vast majority of the cases, hospitalizations, and deaths were preventable since most of those made sick were unvaccinated. Surgeries canceled in hospitals in Washington State and Utah, severe staff shortages in Kentucky and Alabama, a lack of beds in Tennessee. The Senate begins work on a new voting rights bill. GOP leader Mitch McConnell is opposed.
It is a solution in search of a problem, and we will not be supporting that.
Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says it's needed in order to stop Republicans from imposing voting restrictions on the state level.
Instead of doing what you're supposed to do in a democracy, win over the people you didn't win before, they're trying to stop the people who didn't vote for them from voting.
The measure needs 60 votes to pass the Senate. I'm Tim McGuire.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
Everybody, it's 5 o'clock, 5:06 in the afternoon on a beautiful Tuesday. I'm losing track of time. The days are running into each other. My good friend C.A. Nuri is joining me on this beautiful Tuesday. What's up, buddy?
Soon Thursday. It's soon over with.
Soon over.
I'm just telling you this.
And over meaning it'll just begin if it's a new government, and it will continue if it's the old, if it's the present government. Confidence will be waning. Confidence will be across the board. Because trust me, no one's getting an easy ride here. And celebration should be one day old because the pandemic is still with us. One day old because there's massive unemployment. So anyone who wins this government, this country, in service needs to know we ain't got time for slapping up.
So when do you take the new or the next administration to task? Do you take them on task immediately, or you give them a week?
You can't
give them a week.
If it's the old government, they got to get cracking. If it's this present government, you don't have time. If it's a new government, we will give them. I don't even know if you give them. We can't give you 6 weeks on the pandemic. You got to come in ready with a plan. So that's my thing. You can't come in without a plan. You come in ready with a plan. And maybe you need about 2 weeks to assess the finances, but the pre-election report gave you an idea of what the finances of the country was or is. So with that should be able to help you to decide how to best we, implement what we were thinking. If this is a Progressive Liberal Party, they talked about free testing. What is their turnaround time for these free tests? How quickly will it be done? What is their system of quarantine? In what time frame? You see, these are questions that they got to answer.
And where we get the money from?
Man, listen, that's a big one. Where they're going to get the money from, right? And that's why I think you got about 2 weeks to figure out your financial situation and determine how best to execute that plan. But no government comes in, especially the present one, knowing everything about itself and wants more time. And I'm disappointed even with their action, even in this month leading up to the election. Hoping and praying, wishing on a prayer that vaccinations work whilst we're watching Israel fully vaccinated or majority vaccinated, still in its high wave. We know that the vaccines are not bulletproof. They're not stopping waves altogether, but they will work, we know, and will save lives, we know. But what happens if we find ourselves, 70% vaccinated and are in our fourth wave? What is the plan then? You see, all of these are questions that we need to get answered. But nonetheless, good news that folks are getting vaccinated. Happy to say my dad got his first shot. My mom got her first shot. My mother-in-law didn't get her second shot. People around me are getting vaccinated. That's great news. But we digress. Marco City. Cecil, Marco City has swung back and forth. This is one of those swing constituencies in Grand Bahama. Marco City from 2002 to now, to the last election, 20 years of going back and forth, right? Back and forth. So I want to get your thought. Marco City, we mentioned, that is the incumbent, and I need to get that on here. That is the incumbent right now, the one and only Michael Pintard, right? And who else is in Marco City? I got this right here. And we've got, and can you see it? There you go. Michael Pintard, PLP is Kurt Hollingsworth. I know Kurt from sports.
Yes.
And he's a St. Anne's, also as a principal, eh?
Principal, ex-principal of St. Anne's. This election, we have a number of PE teachers seeking to be a member of parliament. We have about 4 of them.
Mm-hmm. So someone say I have an F&M on my show. DNA, Stefan Forbes, KGM, Demetrius Simonet, Coalition of Independent, Crystal Smith. She went to Jack Haywood High School. She's in Grand Bahama. RGM. What is that? What's the RGM? What is that, Cecil?
I don't know.
It must be KGM. That got to be KGM.
No, KGM is Demetrius Simonet.
Yeah.
That's a righteous government. Righteous government.
Okay. All right. Righteous government. Okay. How did I miss that as a party? He's also from Grand Bahama as well. And then we have the independent Dexter. Who's Dexter? Dexter Clare. Independent is Dexter Clare. So we've got a long list of candidates here. I don't know on the ground. F&Ms have to tell me what is the strength of the third party on the ground. How is COI doing in Grand Bahama? I haven't heard anything. That with regards to the Coalition of Independence in Grand Bahama. What is their foothold there?
But the truth is, the coalition campaign strategy has gone back to the party of one. One person having press releases and what do you call it? The time at something at 8 o'clock. What do you call it again?
8 live. Share.
Live. They have it live at 8. Only one person giving those press conferences. So it's a campaign of one, and these people are congregating around that campaign of one.
Live. Listen, live at 8. I always like the sound live at 9. I think live at 9 sounds better than live at 8. But I think we go live at 8:30. Thank you. It's live at 8:30.
Yeah.
We need to get
and share. Don't forget to share.
Share. Right? And because it's the truth. The truth about whatever it is. Mm-hmm. It's the truth. And so don't forget, everyone. And I'm sorry, I find that hilarious. If Lincoln Bain gets into the House of Assembly, I will be thoroughly entertained. There will always be a truth about almost every session in the House.
A lot of naming will be held in the House of Assembly, I'm sure.
Because it'll be safe. You have parliamentary privilege. Lord, let me keep my business off the streets. Get named in the House. All right. So we also have in Pine Ridge, we've got F&M, Wilborn, Boodle. This is who you were talking about in Pine Ridge. Ginger Moxie, strong contender. Yeah. KGM, Belinda Williams. Independent, Shandakan. That's a nice name. Shandakan Wilson. Do not let Darryl call this young man's name. Mess that right up. Mm-hmm. Independent Frederick McAlpine and Grand Commonwealth Party candidate Tavia Lowe. I think it's Tavia. So I think this is really a race between Ginger Moxie and Frederick McAlpine. Period.
And I say differently. It's a race between Boodle and Ginger Moxie.
Not even. I believe that this is a race where F&M doesn't have it in Pine Ridge. Now, for the record, let's go. I have where you can see the swing for Pine Ridge, right? Pine Ridge is also a swing constituency. Pine Ridge has gone back and forth between the two. Has also gone between the two, right? PLP, F&M, PLP, F&M. We are seeing trends. is the disgruntled nature. Because again, Grand Bahama has been one of the islands mainly that keeps getting ignored.
Yes.
And so their frustration continues to be an unmet emotion. They're not being dealt with in the appropriate manner. And I think that will show again here. I
don't think that we have been having that discussion, a proper discussion on what are the issues in Grand Bahama and why they keep on going back and forth. And from the hurricanes to now, what is it that they want from the member of parliament and representation? To know that one point in time they had 3 ministers as Grand Bahamian MPs, to this time when you have like 4 different ministers as Grand Bahamian MPs, and still not getting that satisfaction from their representatives.
5.
Something is wrong.
Don't forget 5. They clean slate over there in Grand Bahama. Juliet is going totally with Mac in Pine Ridge, right? Someone says, I agree with Nahaja, Ginger and Macopine, your front runners in that constituency. From what I've been hearing on the ground, this is between Ginger Moxie and Frederick Macopine, and both are putting on a very strong campaign there. I don't think Mr. Boodle or any of the other candidates really have a chance. It's between Ginger Moxie and Frederick Macopine. So someone says, don't sleep on Boodle.
I say don't sleep on Boodle. I think that the former prime minister's endorsement of him helped him a lot. It boosted him, put him back in the running.
I think that helps. I agree. I honestly, I don't know how the former prime minister's endorsement, I know it helped Dwayne, but to what extent did it convert those who were probably going COI, who were going PLP? I don't think that helped. That only helps solidify his base with the Free National Movement.
And that same base would have voted for Macopine. They have left the Macopine to the door, to the altar, and now going back with Boodle.
But this isn't about Macopine. This is about Minnis. And Macopine, this isn't about Boodle, it's about Minnis. Boodle represents, I believe, for those in that constituency who saw Macopine stand up against Dr. Minnis as prime minister. Will Boodle do the same? And I think that people will reject Mr. Boodle and go with Macopine because Mr. Boodle is still under the leadership of Hubert Minnis. And I think that is fair.
I hear you, Nahaja, but disagree with you vehemently. I think that this election is too important to vote independent. And I think the people of Grand Bahama is quite aware of that. And that's why they will reject Macopine and then will go return home to Boodle. And you'll see that this race is between Boodle and Ginger. And I think that Ginger is on the defensive now because of the groundswell for Boodle. And it all depends on what they do for the next 2 days to see who will secure it.
Yeah. I would say, I think that's a very interesting point and a good point. I think that there's a lot more FNMs who don't see this as a winning strategy for this government. So they will not vote, or if they vote, they will vote for Mac. I think definitely. There's a lot of FNMs.
What else do Grand Bahamians have to do? But vote. They're all going to the polls.
How
They're
dare
going to
you?
be the highest percentage of persons who are actually participating in this general election. Grand Bahama. They're all coming out. This is the only activity they have. They all come out and they will participate and they will vote. I would wager up to 92% of the population, the constituents in Grand Bahama, will turn up to vote.
Yeah. Patrick says, Nahaja, we are not considering the grassroots support for the PLP and the FNM 35 to 40% support every time. That's a good point. That's a good point. They have the strong one. They have a strong one. That'll be something to see. I really do believe that if there's one independent that sneaks through, Macopine is the best chance right there. And I think Macopine has it. West Grand Bahama and Bimini, of course, beautiful Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe for the Free National Movement is the incumbent. Then you have O.B. Wilchcombe. I don't know. I just, you bring, I don't know. You bring back O.B., I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's what the people want at West Grand Bahama. If that's what I don't know about that one. Then you have DNA candidate Mario Mott Jr. I like Mario. I met him at the chat. He's a smart fellow. I like him. Coalition of Independents, Stefan Hall. Independent, Daquan Swain. KGM candidate Randall Cooper. Jeez, this line keep. What is going on, West Grand Bahama and Bimini? How many candidates y'all want? My God, man. KGM Randall Cooper, United Coalition Movement, Hiram Roll, BWFM, Wesley Pete, and RGM, the Righteous Government Movement, O'Brien Roll. What's BWFM? There's too many parties. I need to catch up. BWFM. I don't know that one. Someone says West End and Bimini love Obi. Y'all didn't love Obi the last time. That's how Pakisha get there. Y'all don't say West End love Obi. But West End love Obi. West End,
West End needs better representation. They had poor representation with Obi Wishcombe, and Pakisha came there and they were hoping to get better representation. And you see, they called back for Obi.
Sometimes we go fishing in the past, eh? Like I remember the season of leeks and onions, right?
They're glutton for punishment, and you know they're desperate to man and bad.
But who's the man?
Obi. Yeah. Glutton for punishment. I feel for West End. Yeah. They need to have local government there and bring someone from the ground up to represent them moving forward.
Someone says you'll never know what is better if you keep doing things the same way over and over. It's like staying with an abusive man or woman because you know them, not realizing that better is waiting if you give them an opportunity. Touche. Says because he was a casualty. Someone says he was a casualty of war because of Mr. Christie. Child. But who will be the casualties of war because of Dr. Minnis? And should some soldiers stay dead on the battlefield? Some soldiers should not be resurrected. I just say some soldiers should get their crown and their medals of valor and then politely ride on the horse and be a czar.
I'm watching the comments, Nahaja, and I'm watching the excuses these people are giving for the bad representation of Obi Wishcombe. I am concerned for
listen, you don't say bad because they voted for 3 out of the last 4 elections. They were happy with the representation. When they were not happy, they voted him out.
Nahaja, I saw when you gone to Grand Bahama and did that clip and saw that video. Remember that video you going to Grand Bahama on the expose?
But that wasn't in West End, Grand Bahama.
West End looked like back of it at Inagua. You know the place where the roadie pay?
Don't call my video anything to do with West End.
you know that place in Acklands where nobody is going, where the bushes grew up? That's how West End look.
That was not, don't mess with me. West End, I had good food in West End. Don't get me involved in your West End story.
I'm just saying, it looked rough in West End. It just looked rough.
They got songs and things, man, y'all don't sleep. Well, get scatterize. They are very happy with all I'm saying is though, we bring him back Obi though, like, okay, this is what we're doing. We bring him back Fred.
And they beg for him. The thing is they cry and beg for him.
But Obi will win. Don't sleep.
All right, boy.
Obi will win that constituency.
It's an indictment on the people of West End. That's what it is.
Man, it's an indictment on the people of the Bahamas, depending on who we vote for as leader of this country. Or someone says West End is a fishing village, CA, and the people love their settlement, so stay out of their business.
Say fishing village.
And West End does get hit with many storms. Lord, you're right on
that. You see the excuses? You see the excuses again?
You know what? Ain't nobody into you. We're going to take a commercial break. You ain't say it. I'm going to take a commercial break because you're the last person. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. We will be back right after this.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back.
Hello, Bahamas. My name is Dr. Dwayne Sands. I was born and raised in Centerville, in the heart of the valley, Nassau, Bahamas. I'm a proud Bahamian. I've been fortunate to represent the great people of Elizabeth for the last 5 years. It has always been my dream to serve my country, and I have been involved in the political process on the front line since 2009. I am very, very proud of the support of my family, who have been with me from the beginning and who are still with me to this day. In particular, my wife, Larica, and all of my children, and actually there's quite a few of them. I'm actually a cardiovascular surgeon. What that means is I take on the sickest people with the biggest problems every day. And so for me, the political process to deal with the challenges facing our country is pretty much par for the course. It's what I do every day. I am happy to be a part of the great team of the Free National Movement under the leadership of Dr. Hubert Minnis. We are indeed Elizabeth Strong.
This has been a paid political announcement by the FNM candidate for Elizabeth.
When I got prostate cancer, my family didn't know if I was going to live. At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, within days, I got an appointment. They presented me with treatment options, and we set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. That's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. My good friend C.A. Nuri joining us on the show. Don't forget, you can like us, follow us. If you're listening to us on your radio, in your car, you don't have to miss a show. You can always follow, like, and share with us on Facebook and YouTube. So thank you so much for being a part of the show. My good friend C.A. Nuri with us on the show. Okay, C.A. So we've got, let's switch another island now. Let's switch to Central Abaco. Let's go to Abaco, right? Abaco has traditionally gone red, right?
Central and South Abaco goes back and forth. If you get Key, we used to like to switch party like crazy.
But in the past, Central and South Abaco, in the past 20 years, right? And I'll show you what I mean. In the past 20 years, has gone red in the past 20 years. I mean, that's just, how it's laid out. And I think most people would realize that this is where the challenges will be. Central and South Abaco, past 20 years, has gone red, solid red.
And I still will be reminded that Key switched parties in between there.
Yeah,
it might seem red, but Key
it might
go back and forth. Yeah, Key to go back and forth. I'm not sure how Key thinks.
He did in the late 90s. Key was yellow.
That was late 90s, not 2002, 2007?
No, okay. That was all red. Key was red.
Okay.
Okay, wait.
Because remember, he was arguing with the Green Party and say he's more FNM than him.
Boy, I don't know.
I know
he was arguing. I think it was a red party he was arguing with. He retired under Ingram, eh?
Okay.
He retired under Ingram. But I think he switched at some point, too. It was interesting because there was a lot of arguing with Key.
Yeah.
There was a lot of arguing. So yep. Central and South Abaco, right? So let's go to who's running in that constituency. And I think that right now, who's running in that constituency makes a, interesting one. FNM candidate, Vandia Stewart, right? Who is she taking the place of in Central and South Abaco?
Young Aubrey.
No, young Aubrey. Yeah. And then we have PRP candidate John Pender II. I had him on my show the other day. Very very good presenter, really good, sharp guy, and it was a pleasure to chat with. Then I had KGM candidate Eva Bain on the show, former PLP, and she moved over to the Kingdom Government Movement. She was also on the show before. Coalition of Independent candidate Antoinette Dean. Great photo by Antoinette, by the way. Antoinette looks great. So we have these 4 candidates. We're getting word on the ground that Central and South Abaco might surprise us and go gold. Might surprise us and go gold. And I think it's possible. Now, I go 1 and 2. I think that it's going to be 1 red, 1 gold in Abaco altogether. Your thoughts?
I favor what you said, 1 gold and 1 red. However, I've been heard on the ground that Vandia Dean is campaigning like crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, and the persons on the keys of the Abaco keys are uneasy with going yellow, despite Pinder being from amongst them. So we shall see at the end and how they turn out. But I think it's going to be a close race, and it's going to go straight to the end.
Yeah. Someone said they want a key for North Abaco.
No,
Kai
that's not going to
Mills,
happen.
boy, listen,
No.
Kai Mills, woo!
It's entertainment.
Boy, someone says, Arlene says, it's 2 days. I can feel it. Boy, I want you to feel it, Arlene, because I'm nervous as heck. What you feeling? Everybody feeling so confident. Have you ever met?
Everybody does feel confident.
Everybody feels confident. I mean, they feel so confident about who's going to win. I seriously, Coalition of Independent candidates really believe this is going to be a big win for them. It's a big win. It's a big win. I just,
Nahaja, the KGM believe they're going to win the government with 6 seats. I don't know. And God ordained it. With the 6 seats they're going to have, they win. All 6 of them, they could end up being the government. So I just wait and see. Who am I to say no? Who am I to judge?
Who are you to judge? You judge a lot, though. What are you talking about?
And nothing beats a failure than a triumph. I say, go ahead, win your 6 and become prime minister, and list everybody.
That was a good laugh. Okay. Someone says, Danisha says, blackout, Nahaja, blackout. All right. So we got in North Abaco, we've got the F&M incumbent, Darren Henfield, minister. Well, y'all know I didn't have my issues with that whole ministry not doing any form of international diplomacy in terms of foreign affairs. We just do foreign meetings, makeup, dress up, protocol, invite people over, sign what they tell us to sign. We ain't got no foreign policy plan. And I don't even blame Darren Henfield for that. You come in where you get in. I don't blame him. The government had no foreign policy plan, but we digress. Anyways, the F&M incumbent, Darren Henfield. We have the PLP candidate, Kirk Cornish. I know, boy, I think North Abaco stay in red. But anyways, the Coalition of Independents, Kai Mills. I like Kai Mills. Kai Mills a little off, but I like him. I like him.
I like how you said a little off. I was going to say he's very much off, but a little and very much is different.
But why I say a little bit is because you need a little bit of crazy to deal with some things, though.
No.
And I think Abaco needs a little bit of crazy.
No.
Like you need that little bit of, you know what? Who parked this bus here without a permit? You need a Kai Mills for that.
No.
Yeah, Kai Mills will be the one. Who parked this bus here without a permit?
Take his camera phone from him.
But he will get a next one because he's Kai Mills. Okay? Who parked your bus here, sir? Where you going with this mattress, sir? Okay? Who dig this hole for you, sir? I like Kai Mills. Kai for Koi. All right.
I say Kai Mills will get 12 votes.
Who's the 12? Who will vote for Kai? Where you get that number from?
They'll be his cousins. Just saying, you can get 12 votes. That's it. All family members.
Okay, let me just take a minute. 12 votes.
I'm willing to wager a tropical conch salad on that. I just let you know.
Hold on, what was the tropical conch salad wager was on first? Let me just remember.
You need to write those things down. You never get no conch salad.
Because I can't remember because I know I'm supposed to win. I know I'm supposed to win that tropical conch salad. Oh. Cecil say 12 because I like how you just picked 12. 12 was so strong for you. It was like, I like how you just said it. Like you really counted all his cousins. I mean, it wasn't, I can't. I just can't. Oh, okay. Let me try to get myself together. KGM, Renato Curry is also there. And the Righteous Government Movement candidate, Kathleen Knowles Seymour. All right. Kathleen Knowles Seymour. All right. Right. Right, 12. Sorry. Okay. Kenra said the apostles were 12 also.
See, there you go. I always have support. Amen. Speak it.
I know that, Kenra. She's family to you, eh?
Yeah, man. She's good
family
people.
to you? I see. That's a Nuri. That's family. That's family.
Man.
Yeah, that's our family. All right. Anyway, let me just move on. This is. I can't handle you right now. You try. Koi for Kai or Kai for Koi. We all don't sleep on that. Kai Mills could do something. And you want Kai to do something because, listen, that brother's report everything with his cell phone. That's the only way. All right? That's the only way you going to find any information out in North Africa. But
that's how we found out that bodies were inside the whatever that thing, that container thing.
The Kai cousins were, oh, Jesus.
See? There you go.
And
Highly inseminated remembers.
I did win the tropical conch salad. What was the tropical conch salad that I won? I can't remember what I won for. Anyway, I won my conch salad. Okay, I won my conch salad. But I do believe
get the conch salad. We get the conch salad.
Darren Henfield.
Even though I believe I won.
That Darren Henfield I do believe will win that seat. I think John Pinder II will win Central and South Africa, and I believe that North Africa will be going to Darren Henfield. I think it stays red. I
agree with you. I agree with you.
That's 20 CA0. Bang-a-lang. See, I knew it was right. All right. So let's go to another constituency now, because there are a few constituencies, and one in particular I want to go to is, and we'll try to go in order. But let me do this. Let's go to North Andros and the Berry Islands. Obviously, we know that independent Wellington Roberts is no longer running in this race. And that, of course, now he's not running in the race, but he's running alongside the Progressive Liberal Party, right? So he's flying with Brave Davis.
Yes, Felicia Evans should win this.
Felicia Evans for the Grand Commonwealth Party.
No, actually, I was just saying, her picture looks nice, so I just said, let me call her name. But this is going to Carlton Bolag and the F&M. It's going to stay red in North Andros and the Berry Islands. Besides, it does switch back and forth, because I know Gomez was the MP for this, the last election, but I think that Carlton Bolag did enough to secure the seat.
No, my only issue with Leonardo Lightbourne is he let Lundy beat him with music. You know, I mean, come on, man. You don't let Lundy beat you with trap music. Plus, Ebony 242 and her song. Come on, Leonardo Lightbourne, get your songs together. You heard a song from him yet?
No.
What is the rule, Cecil? What is the rule?
No song, no votes. He doesn't lose.
Well, does Carlton Bolag have a song? He does have a great patch. Does he have a song?
If he doesn't, well, let's go back to Felicia Evans again, I guess.
Well, I go on with Felicia, Grand Commonwealth Party. What about the KGM? Harrington Fraser.
What about him?
And we're moving right along. North Andros and the Berry Islands, I would say, but Andros it normally leans PLP. And if that's the case, I would say that the young PLP Leonardo Lightbourne has a good chance to win that. I'm just saying, I think they have a good chance to win that. I think he has a good chance to win that.
Carlton represents North Andros well, and he has a lot of family members. I believe it's like 12 brothers of them.
Yeah.
12. And each one of them have 12.
12 brothers. All right. What about North Eleuthera? We've got North Eleuthera. North Eleuthera, F&M, Ricky Mackey. And I need to look at my data on the way they've leaned, right? And I want to make sure before we get to the break. Actually, let's go to the break because I think North Eleuthera is going to be interesting. We know that Cassius Stewart is now in Central Eleuthera running there. And I'm curious as to how that'll play out, Cassius Stewart. But in North Eleuthera, has the sentiments for Ricky Mackey. I know in recent months that he's finished up some things, and at least he knew there would be an election one day and started to do some work ahead of time. He and Adrian Gibson. Do we like these folk? Ricky Mackey, does North Eleuthera feel confident with him? You have PLP Sylvanus Petty. You have the United Coalition Movement, McLean Pinder, Grand Commonwealth Party candidate Dwight Cambridge. I still don't know much about this Grand Commonwealth Party. I don't know anything about this Grand Commonwealth Party. Nothing. I don't even know who the leader is.
They need to pay for that.
Well, I mean, they're rich, so hopefully that'll come soon. But we'll take a quick break. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. We'll be back right after this.
Sugar, sugar, let's get sugary. Softer, smoother, and amazing skin. Oh, sugar, sugar, we're the sugar ladies. Giving you skin soft as a baby's. Goodbye, hair, we'll take good care of you.
Come visit us at Bahar Treat Spa on East Bay Street. Contact us at 323-6711 or visit us online at www.baharetreat.com.
Here's a question. What kind of doctor fights with healthcare workers during a pandemic and fails to provide enough testing or to make it free? What kind of doctor invests millions on sidewalks instead of hospitals, then allows patients to be treated in tents during hurricane season? What kind of doctor calls a snap election during our country's worst COVID surge? The answer is pretty clear. The kind of doctor who can't fix a crisis and shouldn't be given 5 more years.
This has been a paid political announcement by the PLP.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
You're back. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Okay, let's go on to Eleuthera. What we're doing today, y'all, we're going through Family Island constituencies today, getting a sense of how they have voted in the past, how they have, just looking at the candidates that are for that constituency. What do we know about them? What is on the ground? Word on the ground there. So now we're looking at, let's go to North Eleuthera. Did I do Central?
No, not yet. We haven't done Central yet. We haven't. No, you didn't do Central Andros either.
Okay, so we need to let me find Central Andros first before I go all the way out. That's South Central Eleuthera, Cat Island, Yarmouth Crow. Hold on. So we could find those, and I want to make sure I get North. So we did North Andros and Berry Islands. Where's my? Wow. Oh, there it is. All right, there we go. So we got Mangrove Key and South Andros, right? Mangrove Key, South Andros. And we'll definitely get Cat Island as well. Mangrove Key, South Andros. We got the F&M candidate, D'Angelo Ferguson. We've got the PLP candidate, Leon Lundy. We've got the independent candidate, Angelo Smith. Bahamas Constitution Party, Cornelius McKinney. I've had him on. He's a sharp guy.
Sharp guy. Brilliant, actually. I would go as far as calling him brilliant.
Yeah, he's a brilliant fellow.
Ideas, concepts. Yeah.
It's not Stuart. It's Stuart. Who's Stuart? Oh, right. Sorry, I was reading something else. Cornelius McKinney, Coalition of Independent candidate Trevor Green, Grand Commonwealth Party Yorick Sands. Okay. Still, I hope that Grand Commonwealth Party would have more photos, but I'm sorry, they're just not prepared. And the Righteous Government Movement, right? You need a little bit more prepared for coming to the Bahamian people. Like, we got to take this thing a little bit more seriously. So Mangrove Key and South Andros. Mangrove Key voted independent in 2002. For the past 20 years, then the last 3 elections has been PLP. So 2007, 2012, 2017. But they ain't vote for my girl, Shami Farrington Austin, though. A little bit about that, because Shami would have legitimately been the greatest member of parliament for Andros.
I was very surprised that she didn't run independent again this election, but instead decided to support the PLP candidate. So I was a little disappointed in that. I thought that she was a strong candidate.
Campaigns cost money, And my friend at this time, what I realized is that integrity is vital, and my friend wasn't losing her integrity for nothing. And either you're going to just say, okay, I can't run. I don't, it's like, I'm not going to put my resources towards this anymore. And that's what she decided to do. And I support that. Right.
Okay.
And, so Mangrove Key and South Andres, I think Leon Lundy is the front runner there.
But just by judging from the song, we know that Leon Lundy is ahead.
Yeah. I like that. Leon Lundy for me is a go. I think Leon Lundy has that. And
he was able to politically outpush the Price Forbes. For him to have that type of sway and swagger to manipulate the system and push out a Price Forbes, who is a political giant, one must say that he's definitely politically savvy.
Yeah, I would say that too. So F&M for Long Island then. So we say Leon Lundy for Mangrove Key and South Andres. Long Island now has a member of parliament who's embroiled with some controversy, Adrian Gibson, who I still believe has a lot of questions to answer to.
I know all that is subjective, No,
that's not subjective, buddy. The documents are there. Answering is not subjective to evidence.
And the documents are cut and paste. It's a created narrative. And I believe whenever this election is called and done and over with, I believe Adrian Gibson will explain all of that.
No, you explain it now. Why wait?
Because we're in the middle of a campaign.
That's what it is.
What his goal now is to win this by a landslide.
And that's not the goal.
Secure Long Island. And we know that he will win it by a landslide.
He will win Long Island now. Ain't no question about that.
And not just winning, no. Secure it.
And you know what's sad about it, though? And again, innocent until proven guilty. But what is sad about it? Yes, sad. Yes, what is sad about it is that we don't have any automatic entities, right? Any automatic systems that would begin an investigation in all areas where there's deemed impropriety. That's sad. That's sad that we can continue on and still not know whether or not these things are actually, will we ever get answers? I have a problem. This has gone back from, party to party, government to government, where each one says that they got information, they got data, they got truth, we got the files, we see this. They will post all of these things. That's why I tell you, I'm watching. If the PRP becomes the government, I'm watching them. Because this is the same foolishness the last guys did. These guys did, the Free National Movement. All you got is data. All you got is information. You spread it all over social media, arouse the people's anger and frustration, and nothing happens. But you know what does happen? They carry on smartly with the same levels of corruption that the Bahamian people have said been going on for decades. Yes, you will win your seat. You know why you could win your seat? Because you're doing what you need to do for your constituency. But are you doing what needs to be done to be held accountable and with the levels of integrity that is required for members of parliament? This ain't just Adrian Gibson. This is across the board. And so my issue is there needs to be some answers, buddy. Need to be answered.
I keep on hearing this narrative about answers. And Adrian Gibson has answered already. He has explained what happened, but people just reject it. It has already been explained.
You know why it was rejected? Because it wasn't an answer.
It was an adequate answer. I understood it. I understood exactly what happened.
You understood that's what's called beating around the bush. That's what you call it. You actually
beating around the bush.
You ever had someone come and clean your yard, right? You ever had someone come clean your yard, and you tell them don't cut this, right? You say don't cut this.
Is this a Bahamian cleaner or immigrant?
No need to warn you. Just let your imagination go with you.
So it's an immigrant cleanup.
I didn't say that. I say just let your in your head.
I'm starting imagining. I'm going to get my yard cleaned properly.
All right. You ever had them and you say, you're supposed to clean X, Y, and Z, right? And they miss everything, but what you tell them you're supposed to clean.
Okay, this sounds like a Bahamian cleaner now. The narrative different. Because it doesn't sound like my yard. But go ahead. It's a Bahamian cleaner.
They miss everything but what you tell them. And then they cut down everything you tell them leave. This is what you call, this is a beating around the bush. Just answer the question straight. We don't need no extra. Dude, was she your fiance? Do you have a joint account? Okay, don't call it foolishness.
But answer the question. The idea is you trying to prove corruption. You found out that the gentleman opened up a company as a lawyer and he used whoever was around him to be directors in order to start up. This is typical. This is done when he's setting up all kind of companies.
What's typical? Corruption?
No, just listing the person's name to start the initial company. I know when I was a paralegal some years ago.
No. I'm trying to get a sense of what you're saying is typical, Cecil. What is typical is that you open up a joint bank account, and is that typical? And these are allegations, by the way. I understand that these are allegations, but now these are strong allegations that really warrant more answers. Anyway. Long Island going red. I ain't saying Long Island.
Long Island's going red. Yes,
Long Island going red. And because I will say this, Long Island going red because the MP working for Long Island, plus Long Island has always gone red.
Yes.
Except for Loretta. They didn't want Loretta. She went independent.
But she went independent. She wasn't red anymore.
She wasn't red anymore. That's true. You think Loretta should have gone back home? She ain't gonna be there.
She'll go back home soon.
You think Loretta go back home?
Yes.
I think she'll go back home.
She and Brian needs to return home.
Lord, that would be news. She and Brian should return home.
And after this election, I believe Miss Komalafi will turn back yellow.
Hi.
And after this election, Mr. Green from the COI will just go on another scheme. A whole different tangent of scheme altogether when he give up on this party thing. Just another thing. Might open up another church.
Moving to Michael.
Yes, I digress.
Michael. Say Zab says, it says, y'all two giving us a headache. You sound like husband and wife. All right, Michael, right? So Michael, we have Mayaguana, Inagua, Crooked Island, Acklands, Long Key. F&M candidate, the incumbent, Miriam Emanuel. She is the incumbent there, of course. PLP Basil McIntosh. COI, Coalition of Independent candidate, Andrew Bowe. Grand Commonwealth Party candidate, Pearl Pratt. What do you say there? I say that it's going back yellow.
No, I think that Miriam Emanuel is going to keep it. It's going to keep it because Acklands like Emanuel's.
That's only Acklands. How many people in Acklands, Cecil? You know, my car is at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Selena Point has about 600 people in it. I think the whole island have maybe 1,000, 1,200 people.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, for the record, my car has voted PLP 3 of the last 4 times in the last 20
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, so Miriam Emanuel is gone in this one. I think that's the end of that.
No, you soon see.
Yeah.
There's another tropical conch salad you're going to have to buy.
I don't need to bet on that. I don't bet on. You got to bet on something that's valuable.
The wife will be eating conch salad on you for months. That's clearly what happened.
Well, I think we should go big. Let's go bigger, especially in this constituency. This going back. I don't even think people need to know who this fella is. It's just go.
The people of Acklands like Miriam.
That's what the people of Acklands. Anyone from Acklands? Anyone? CA, you can't count just like Miriam.
That's okay. We need someone from Acklands need to type in, call in or some sort, and let people know that Acklands stay red.
Yeah, stay red. This one, I think it is solid. It is solid gold. I think someone says, say my boy Lincoln would open up another church. Someone says you go into hell, Cecil. All right. So I would say that Miriam Emanuel will be defeated by the PLP candidate. Then we had Long Island, and we have, let's go with Eleuthera, right? So let's go to Central and South Eleuthera. Central and South Eleuthera, Hank Johnson. And did we do this one? No. Hank Johnson, PLP candidate, Clay Sweeting. How many times has Clay tried?
This could be the 3rd time.
Okay. Has he won before?
No, but he reminds me of a Dr. Sands. The idea is that he has, when you committed and you deserve the seat, I think that Clay Sanders has done everything that he needs to do to secure the seat, and that this Central and Southern Eleuthera will go to the PLP with Clay Sweeting. just like how Elizabeth will be going red and stay with Dwayne Sands.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see with that. All right. Central and South Eleuthera predominantly leans gold. It is a PLP stronghold, as some would say. They voted for the first time in 20 years for Hank Johnson, the FNM, in this last election. But for the 15 years prior, they were a PLP, and Clay Speeding might get a seat. But I got my support from my guy, Cassius Stewart. Way to go, Cassius. United Coalition Movement. Grand Commonwealth Party?
United Coalition Movement.
Yes.
But see, I get wary of people who move to constituency where there's no family. See, me, if I run in, I gotta run in Fox Hill so I can make sure my wife vote for me, right? So if I get any votes, it can at least get 2. It ain't gonna be no 0. And I think that Cassius Stewart put himself at a risk to have Darren Miller say 0 votes for Cassius Stewart. And it's most unfortunate because Cassius is a brilliant man. And getting labeled to do too much 0 after a while, that's stick on you.
I will say this: Cassius definitely went somewhere where he can't vote for himself.
Yeah, he can't even vote for himself. He had to the advanced poll. He had to stay in Garden Hills. He couldn't even go on to Eleuthera.
Man, I think that always tricky, but you believe, you fight on to see another day. Hallelujah. Fight on. Fight. Right? All right. So last one before we go. Cat Island, Rum Key, and San Salvador. What a time to be alive. All right. So the Cat Island MP for Free National Movement had a tough weekend. But I say, it's a matter of conscience, right? It's a matter of conscience how you vote in this election. And so I support people who use their conscience to get, to the place where they can vote. And, understanding that if you vote for a certain party, you vote for no jobs. So it's important, that you not mention that you vote for your party, it's no jobs. But tough weekend, for the Free National Movement candidate, Felicia Knowles, But again, I think people should vote their conscience. We have Philip Brave Davis, who will be running in Cat Island as well, right? And I don't believe that he will feel that threatened. It's been gold. But we said that about, what's the name of our former Prime Minister? Perry Gladstone Christie, okay? He had that seat in Centerville until that little fella who I voted for race.
David and Goliath.
All right. Don't sleep on Felicia Knowles. All right, don't sleep on her. I tell you, when the conscience hit you, it's over. All right? When the conscience lick you in your sleep. So I think, though, I would still say on a good vote that Cat Island stays. Cat Island, Rum Key, and San Salvador stays gold. What do you say?
This has been a rough week for Miss Knowles, but she's a fighter. She's going to be a scrapper. I think that she has a great support in San Salvador, and it should be a good experience. This whole election is going to be a good experience for her, and definitely she will come out of this ahead. But Brave Davis will secure Cat Island, Rum Key, and San Salvador. In fact, he's in San Salvador now eating breakfast and buying everybody great things, So he tried to secure San Salvador for himself.
Someone says they want Brave, Doc, and Desmond gone. Then this will be a new Bahamas.
But we know that ain't happening.
Okay, all right. Shout out to someone who's watching from Mississauga, Ontario. Where is it? Kelvin? Where is he? Who's watching from Mississauga, Ontario? Don't forget, folks, like, follow, share. C.A. Nuri. We'll continue this tomorrow. One more day, my boy. One more day. And then we will, on Thursday, everyone gets a chance to mark their X and look for the names and make sure you connect the picture and the name, because there's been some printing errors in the advanced ballot. So just, make sure you look and read your names and know who's in your constituency. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. C.A., thank you so much, buddy. Always a pleasure having you on the show. We will see each other tomorrow. Special thanks to everyone who's listening in your cars, at work, who's online. Love you guys. We will see you tomorrow. We're out.